Chips, don't give me that shit. I want
I've
my
been watching
end.
you all night.
Don't give me that shit. I want my money.
For the fucking chips.
I didn't steal anything from you.
Get lost, Ginger. Get lost!
Get lost?
Yes.
Get lost?
Yes.
Well, how about
I've been told, baby, you've been told I won't see no food no more.
So, Sun in the second house. This has to be my favorite Synastry aspect. Well, I wouldn't say it's my favorite Synastry aspect. I say it's one of my favorite Synastry aspects. As far as overlays are concerned, because the nature of the second house is just so cut and dry. It's so laid out on the table and not confusing. It's the house of originally ruled by Taurus, and that energy is just so blunt and so upfront, and there's really no room to beat around the bush. You just gotta come correct. You come and you say what you want, and if you work for it, you can get what you want. It's an investment house. And you usually see those investments come through, come to fruition. So, the second house person is seen as the trophy. This, to me, the second house is the trophy wives club. Okay? And as harsh as that can sound, like a little gold diggerish, I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. The second house has that nature to it because it gets what it wants. This is where we have our value, why are we even doing it? Because we want what we want out of it. You're not going to get any, are you familiar with Taurus energy? How stubborn it is. It's one of my favorite signs. I love all the fixed signs. Being a Leo myself, I absolutely, and having Taurus on my descendant, I really appreciate Taurus energy. I love stubbornness. I'm stubborn myself, and having that Taurian energy, I very much understand it. Being stubborn is a virtue in my fucking opinion. You can't convince me otherwise. Especially these days where you have to apologize for every fucking thing you say and do. Being stubborn is chef's kiss. Anyway. The second house person is seen by the sun house person as the most desirable, top of the line, top tier person, or they see the potential of the second house person to be that. One thing the sun person knows for sure is that they don't want anybody else to have the second house person. Okay? Don't think that it's just the sun person that gets possessive. I'll get into why. That's both of them. Both these motherfuckers are possessive over each other. More so the second house person. It's the sun person at first, and then the second house person becomes the more possessive one. And actually aggressively possessive. Also, let somebody who is the second house person be a Taurus. Yeah, game over. Fuck. My mom went out to Waco with her cousins and came back with fucking COVID. Should have kept the fucking woman away from me. As soon as I saw her start coughing, I should have pushed her into the fucking... Never mind. I don't have COVID, but I have the sniffles, and God, it's awful. It's just awful. I can't stand it. Anyway, the sun person sees the second house person to be the ultimate prize, right? They see the second house person as this, the peak of what anybody should ever look like, whatever they're into. I'm going to say a woman from my perspective, because as a lesbian, I'm going to speak, as a second house person is a woman. So you just put it as a man if you want, get in where you fit in. But I'm just going to put it in terms because I don't want to be too overly inclusive, because that generalizes the message, and I really want I want a succinct message here. So yeah, so we're going to say the second house person is a woman, right? The sun person sees the second house person as ultimate beauty, the standard of beauty. Not like the first house, okay? Because the first house, to me, I don't see that as where beauty is represented. If you are beautiful, that's just what it is. The first house it is what it is. It's what you get. It's very Aryan, Martian energy, the first house. It's Aries. It's originally ruled by Aries anyway. What you see is what you get. I can't help the way I look. My ascendant is my ascendant. You can get a nose job, you can get your lips done, you can put filler in your face, you can stick some more plastic in your tits. It doesn't matter, okay? Your ascendant is just the way you look. To me, it's a natural place. You can't help it. It's just the way you're born looking. The second house is how you dress it up. The second house is where we put in the effort. Our jewelry, our makeup, our collections, our things, our possessions. To dress up our ascendant. You know what I mean? You enhance the beauty of your ascendant. That's all the Venusian things. Taurus. Like I said, eyeshadow, mascara, lip gloss, eyeliner, perfume. Very sensual Venusian things to dress up the ascendant. And the sun person believes that the second house person does that mighty well. They think the second house person is the catch of the fucking season. And they don't want anybody else to have the second house person. The sun person sees the second house. This is, to me signifies when people look at someone and they say, I'm going to marry them. To me, this is that one. I don't feel like it's the love at first sight. Like Venus in the first house, Venus in the second house is like, this is the practical, because you can marry somebody, it doesn't mean that it has this super spiritual component to it. It can, but this is the second house. This is somebody that you feel practically you could be with. It's not pie in the sky, which is why I love it. It's not pie in the sky. It's not the 12th house. It's not even the 8th house. It's not, ideal. Well, no, that's not true. It is ideal, because the second house is our ideal. It's ideal, but on a practical, physical, tangible level. Not like the 9th house where it's pie in the sky, or 12th house where it's like the perfect dream woman who falls from the heavens onto the earth. No, bullshit. The second house is the next best thing. Like if Aphrodite herself was to just drop into a human body, this is who she would be. Just this beautiful, sensual, feminine presence. This vivacious, just this powerhouse of beauty. And the sun person has to have that. Now, why does the sun person have to have that? We're talking about our ego here. The sun represents our ego. It represents our, when we're feeling at our best, when we're feeling our happiest, is the sun. That's whenever we're like, I'm very fucking happy right now. I'm just happy. What else ties into that, though? The ego. And it would please the sun person. You see what I'm saying here? Because this is a house of pleasure. The sun person would be so pleased to have the second house person on their arm as like an arm charm, or their wife, trophy wife, you know, because look who I was able to bring in. Look at this baddie that I was able to bag. This beautiful woman could have had anybody else, but she wanted me. You know what I mean? And the only thing, though, with this is I feel that the way that this works the best is if the sun person was honest with who they are, authentic with who they are, because you'll feel like shit pursuing the second house person if you're only trying to attain them by your fiscal means. If you are trying to buy the second house person, in this second house, you want to actually flex any other astrological muscle that you would have, speaking in synastry terms, like your overlays. You can't just have the sun in the second house alone. It is a very great aspect to have for the practical reasons of why you would be with somebody. Because believe me, the second house person has their own reasons for wanting to be with the sun person. But I'll get to them in a second. The sun person needs to figure out, how do I want to attract the second house person? Because this is also attraction here because of Venus. It's attractive. So how are you attracting the second house person? Are you using your funds? Make sure that, because this is the everlasting house. This is a Taurus house. It's the earthiest of the earthiest houses. So you have to make sure that the reason that you started is the reason why you finish it too. It has to be consistent, because the thing about Taurus, it's consistent. It has to be consistent all the way through, from the reason, because the second house person is going to remember what made them attracted to you in the first place. Now, if you lead with money, of course the second house person is going to be attracted to you for your money. You're meeting them where they value money. The second house is of money. You know what I mean? So if that's what you're putting on the table from jump, how are they not supposed to consider that throughout the course of your relationship? Keep that in mind. So second house, I don't know if what you're bringing, because you have to bring something to the second house person. You have to bring something. And what I would suggest is bringing your authenticity and your truth. Well, it's basically the same thing, but be yourself. You've got to know who you are before you end up in someone else's second house, because this is how we value ourselves. You know what I mean? The second house person needs to be able to assess what it is that you really want with them. Otherwise, they'll just think that you're some kind of weirdo taking up space and, push you away. Express your interest, but come correct, come clear. State what it is that you want in a relationship. This is one of those, the great thing about the second house sun synastry overlays, you can get right to the fucking point on a date. What is it that you're looking for? Okay, I can do that. Because remember, the second house is business. What is it that you want? The seventh house is also business, but the second house is just plain, the black ink lettering is on the white paper. There's no way you can miss it. Read the fine print, motherfucker. It's right there. So it's like you have to have that conversation, what it is that you want, because I need to make sure that I can actually give you that. You know what I'm saying? This relationship reminds me of Sam Rothstein and Ginger in Casino. I remember, Sam was saying about Ginger whenever he first met her. He looked at her and he was in his casino and she was throwing chips up in the fucking air, just being a nuisance. but she looked like $1,000,000 and he looked at her with the practical love at first sight, like, that is who I want as my wife. And I don't believe it was for any other reason than what she looked like. That is it. She was gorgeous, and that is what he wanted. She, on the other hand, she had love for him, but she didn't love him. It was business. And he wanted real love from her. But he wasn't really interested in that either. He was more so interested in her looks and how she looked with him. You know, it was superficial, but it was practical enough for them to be married. Now, the reason why I feel like it was so fucked up is because of the kind of work that they were in. They were in some shady shit. If they weren't so caught up in the fast life, they would have had if they were more practical, like Harvard grad kind of type shit, you know what I mean? Their marriage probably would have been a little bit smoother because nobody would, be trying to get each other killed or whatever. But even, because, when Sam started tripping about, where she could go and who she could talk to because before she got with Sam, she was independent, you know what I mean? She was hustling and stuff. And whenever she got with Sam, because she thought it would be a sweet deal, he wants me because I'm hot and, I want his money. I want security. What is the second house? Security. And when he was, being controlling, because she would say, I need $25,000. I need this, I need that. And he would say, for what? She didn't want to explain herself because she was going to give it to her pimp. Spoiler, sorry. But yeah, he kept saying y'all have to watch Casino. For one, it's a really good fucking movie. It's great. I'm watching it right now. I just love this movie. But if you ain't ever seen Casino, if you want to know what a second house sun synastry, flavor would look like, it's Sam and Ginger's marriage. Now, it doesn't have to be shitty. It just means that you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Don't forget why the fuck we came into this to begin with. Ginger was talking to Nikki, Sam's buddy, sort of, frenemy, saying he knew what the fuck the deal was before we got married. I told him all about my life. We laid everything out on the table. So the fact that he's trying to act like surprised about who I am now is just so fucked up because he was very possessive of her. And she said we had a fucking deal. He gave her the keys to over $1 million, or was it like $2 million worth of jewelry and shit that Sam stupidly gave Ginger the key to this I forgot what they call it. This stash of money that was in a bank. And then the guy who was talking to Sam at the bank, he was like, you really trust your wife, don't you? And he was like, yeah, of course, why not? He was like, most people don't, And because Ginger did she took his money, you know what I mean? And that's another thing with the second house, is the second house person is going to get their end, you know what I mean? Because this is Taurus. They're going to get their end of whatever it is that they're looking for, what they want. And the second house person can become possessive of the sun person. Because the second house person, they realize that the sun person really wants them for a specific thing. They might value their loyalty. These two are very loyal to one another. When things are great, these two are so loyal to one another. It's a very practical marriage. If you don't want that like pie in the sky, relying solely on emotion kind of relationship because it's so fleeting and you never know, it's hot and cold, the second house is where it's at because it's very much, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, I'm loyal to you, you're loyal to me. And if you've got other good synastry overlays like Venus in the 7th or Venus in the 8th or Venus in the 4th or something, then you've got a really good thing going here. You can really work with that, But Sun in the second house is a great Synastry overlay for practicality. Anyway, the second house person realizes that the sun person really wanted them for a specific thing. And it could be their money as well. You know, this could flip-flop. It doesn't have to be just one way. But the second house person realizes that I've got to keep this up, whatever the sun person wants, because I'm holding my end of the bargain here. You know, the sun person is providing me security and everything like that, because somewhere along the way, the second house person really gives up their, not the ability, but they give up the drive, the ambition to make money any other way besides solely relying on the sun person, because the sun person comes in with all these promises. We do this, we got a good thing going here, I'll do this for you, I'll take care of you, you just stay at home, you be my wife, you know, you just be beautiful, that's all I want from you, I want us to be in love, blah 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 blah. So second house person's like, okay, fine, whatever. So the second house person, you have to remember that Taurus, the second house, is where we want to kick up our feet and take it easy. We'd love to make money. We'll work hard, of course. But at the same time, it's like, if I don't have to work hard, then I don't want to work hard. You know, someone says they're going to come and take care of me, then I'll let them. And that also depends on what your second house looks like. Because if you have second house in Aries, maybe not. But, yeah, the second house person comes to rely on the sun person to take care of them because everything goes so sweet. Like, it's actually working, you know, the deal they come up with absolutely works. And so the second house person just gets comfortable upholding their end of the bargain, and, you know, they keep themselves attractive for the second house, the sun person, because the second house's beauty, the way they dress, the way they come across, is what attracted the sun person to begin with. So they keep that up, doing the hair, the makeup, going to get the nails done, working out. And it's also hard to do that too, because especially if you have Taurus here, or if you have Libra, or if you have Pisces, something where eating a lot because you're living the good life, you just get comfortable in like really overindulging. You might gain weight, of course, and so the second house person can really get insecure about their looks because they're still trying to maintain that attractiveness that the sun person originally bought into. And so the sun person, even if the sun person seems distracted for a little bit, like maybe they're looking at other people, but they're not literally looking at them, they're just, you know, people watching, or the second house person pays a whole lot of attention, a fuckload of attention to what the sun person finds attractive and wants and sees as sexy and really tries to keep up. This is like the woman who changes her hair color to blonde when she's a brunette because her husband suddenly starts looking at pictures of women who have blonde hair. You know what I mean? Like the sun person diverts their attention from the second house person. That leaves the second house person being like, what the fuck? Because, you know, they really invested in the sun person, and it's like, well, what do I do if the sun person finds someone else? Because I won't have anything. You know, the sun person provides for me, literally. So if the sun person goes and finds a new shiny toy or a hot younger thing, what happens to me? You know what I mean? Like, so that'll make the second house person feel very possessive and, you know, insecure and even jealous. Like, well, where are you going? Who's going to be there? When are you coming back? And really going over and above and beyond, trying to get the sun person's attention again, wearing more sensual clothes, perhaps even not eating, trying to make the sun person pay attention to them again. So they could probably, make the sun person jealous, trying to show that they still got it and they can have anybody else that they want still. Even if they've pushed 3 kids and it's been, 10 years that they've been together, they can still pull whoever else they want. And the sun person better not forget it. And that can cause, this can also be a physically abusive house. If there is some Mars, Pluto stuff going on in the synastry as well, Sun Pluto, Moon square Pluto kind of stuff, this can show physical abuse because of how physical of a house it is. These two want to possess one another. They want to be each other's ideal dream woman, dream person. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you mean you want someone else? What do you mean you think this person's beautiful? The second house person cannot stand the sun person looking at other people. They'll feel like, well, is that what you want now? They pay so much attention to one another and each other's whereabouts because this is a physical house. They want each other physically close because they need to know what's going on with my investment. God damn it. Oh my God, this is 25 minutes. I didn't mean for this to happen. So, yeah, the sun person, there's just a lot of reassurance that needs to take place here, and make sure that you are honest from the get-go about what it is that you want out of this relationship. What do you want from each other? What do you want in the relationship? You can do that with this house. This is one of the best things about this house is that you can be as upfront, as blunt as you want, and it's not going to cost you anything yet. You just uphold your end of the bargain, be clear. This is what I wanted. This is what you said you wanted. This is what we agreed upon. Because in this relationship, you could get married. You really could. And the marriage is a business. Yes, you can be in love and all that stuff, but there's business here. I'm doing my part, you're doing your part. We made a deal. You know what I mean? So, that's Sun in the second house synastry overlay. I'm kind of pissed because I wanted to do this on camera, but my camera hasn't arrived yet, thanks to the lovely people over at Amazon. Anyway, yeah, so you can pretty much guess that I'm doing the sun and houses overlays. So this is uploaded on Patreon first. Thanks to all my patrons. Y'all rock out. Y'all are some cool motherfuckers. Thanks for staying. But yeah, you might want to go ahead and become a patron member, a member of Outlaw Church if you aren't already, because that way you'll get the first first dibs on content like weeks before I post it on YouTube. I am only posting up to the 4th house when it comes to synastry overlays. The rest of the overlays will be up on my Patreon. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day and all that other shit. Bye-bye.